Welcome to the Southern California Prep Insider San Diego Football Podcast. I'm Morris, Mr. C-Pay, Crusher Pedersen, and the professor of RBU, Noah Sina.
Welcome to yet another edition of Going Places That Noah Doesn't Want to. We're here at Otay Ranch today, home of the Mustangs. I have gotten them. I've said Broncos before, so I apologize for that. But it's another week of places that are going to play Olympian again. It's another week of places that you have somewhat questionable memories of. We had to let him vent about a touchdown that was called back earlier today and all that. All right. So, but now we are moving forward. We got, he goes by Sammy Peronata. I just want to call him the Bulldozer.
Sammy P.
After last week. We'll roll that clip a bunch later for RBU, but he dragged most of Eastlake with him, so that dragged us down here for the podcast.
Yep, big win for those guys against Eastlake, a rivalry game, all that kind of stuff. So good.
Way to just complicate the top 10 for us.
Yeah, and here's the top 10, the aforementioned top 10.
You like that segue right there? We planned that out.
Other teams receiving votes, not yet on our top 10. We have Christian, West Hills, Southwest, El Centro, and Eastlake.
So
knocking on the door.
Two teams, first time on there. Two teams perennially on the bubble.
Exactly.
Let's get to the top 10.
Here we go. Number 10, Valley Center. Number 9 is Lincoln. They had a big win this week against First Ranch. San Marcos dropping down to number 8. 7, Ramona. Torrey Pines at 6 after their big win against San Marcos. 5, the Bishop School. 4, La Costa Canyon. 3, Madison. 2, Helix. And number 1, and still, number 1 team in the county, Mission Hills.
Helix Madison switching places, and LCC. Wow. The silent but deadly type. They were completely off our radar, not even in the teams receiving votes at the beginning of the season. Undefeated, 6-0, taking on Mission Hills this week.
Yeah, that'll be a big one. We'll talk about that later. No, what do you think about the top 10?
Piggyback on Christian, LCC surprised everybody. They had a big win last week, and now they have opportunity to really make a jump if they surprise a lot of people this weekend.
I'll say this, man, if they come within 2 touchdowns of Mission Hills,
they need to stay in the top.
They'll stay in the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be really interested to see, because Mission Hills, for all the talk about Olave and Tuttle and their offense, Mission Hills' defense has been just straight shutting people down. Put up a goose egg against Rancho Bernardo last week. They held Oceanside to 10. I'll be very curious to see if Jake Newfield and company can put up 17, 21, something like that. Even if it's a loss, if they can be the first ones to kind of crack away at Mission Hills. If not, if Mission Hills puts this away, I say adios to anyone challenging them this season.
And also Torrey Pines, they had a huge
overtime win.
I want to apologize.
Me too. Sorry.
I want to apologize.
All right, well, if we're talking about apologies, I also owe one to Valley Center. I saw your tweets. If we don't, I don't know if I'm going to drag the two of them out there for a full podcast. We might. If not, I will make the trek out there and come say sorry in person and pick up Jaguar shirt.
Yeah, Torrey Pines, physical football team, well-coached football team, disciplined. They don't make many mistakes. You guys,
that was just a big win.
Yeah,
that was start to finish a big win.
All right, more from last week. We got to do our game balls. Who wants to go first?
Well, no, you already wanted to give a game ball out to Torrey Pines, so just keep talking about Gladnick and company.
Oh yeah, Torrey Pines, big win versus San Marcos. Like I said before, very physical, very, we're going to run the ball, kind of old school football. They don't make mistakes. So, shout out to them.
It was big plays, too.
Yeah.
It was 80-yard touchdowns.
For a wing T offense, shout out to the wing T.
Shout out wing T.
Wing T out there. Yeah, in a wing T offense, to really play a big play team like San Marcos.
And to have the bigger plays beyond your ground attack.
The bigger plays, you definitely deserve a game ball there. Kenyon Sims, RBU guy. I got love from my RBU guys. He carried the ball
You mean Kenyon Sims?
He had 5 carries and he scored 4 times.
We're talking about Reggie Bush numbers.
Yeah.
If you flash back to when Reggie Bush was at Helix, he would get 8 carries for 6 touchdowns, 100-something yards. We're talking about these kind of numbers. People need to understand how good this kid is at football.
Yeah, Kenyon Sims. If you haven't seen the RBU, go check that out. Rock Gonzalez. A lot of people from Olympian High School. He had 2 sacks this week, and he had a forced fumble. But really, he is second in San Diego right now in sacks, and he doesn't get talked about a lot. What's up, Sammy?
All right, folks, our guest is here.
Come in.
You want to introduce yourself?
Sammy Peronata, number 1 for Otay Ranch High School, outside linebacker, running back.
Yeah, big
and
guy.
the only guy so
Wait.
far on the podcast that makes Noah not look cute.
And in case you're wondering what his initials are, he's got them right here. In case you forget.
SP.
Yeah, there you go.
MVP, yeah. And then last game ball to Jake Newfield in his 3 TD win versus El Camino.
Tommy?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my game balls really quick, then we can get to the interview with this guy. First, Angelo Peraza, 4 touchdowns in his first ever career start for Saints.
Shouts to the Peraza family.
There we
Great
go.
family. Great family.
Great play, or great game for him.
Multi-sport athlete. He's a baseball kid. Love to
Younger
see him
guy too.
chucking the ball, man.
Good to see him out there. David Hofka. Hafoka. David Hafoka.
Yo, you think you know how to say it?
David Hafoka.
Okay, good.
For sealing the game against Eastlake. We'll talk about that with you with an interception. Brad Jeremiah still putting up in numbers that don't make any sense. 359 yards passing and 8 touchdowns. 8 passing touchdowns for the
Playing
kid.
Madden on Ricky.
Oh
Madden
my
on
gosh.
Ricky every week.
Jordan Young, Cade Weaver with the game-winning trick play for West Hills in their win against Valhalla. So congratulations to those two.
And West Hills is kind of nasty. My first game ball to Marty Sesma and Sweetwater. Since Marty came back off the DL, Sweetwater has not lost. I know it's a small sample size, only 3 games, but it's something. There's a direct correlation there between having a running back who can move the ball and getting wins. So you got to think that maybe Sweetwater's going to struggle a little bit with getting a high seed in the playoffs, but right now they might be a team that just picks up enough steam that we're talking about some success in the postseason. Shout out game ball to Monte Vista. They got a shutout over Mount Miguel. Any shutout is always a good
Any
shutout.
goose
I mean,
egg.
like
Yeah,
35
that
on the
goose egg.
offense, 0 on the defense.
Pretty good day.
Doesn't matter who you're playing, that's a good day. Game ball to Castle Park, or to Mater Dei for beating Castle Park. Mater Dei, another team, took a couple L's in the early season. Coach Joyner's got them straightened out. They're starting to win games. You know, sometimes you hit the panic button way too quick, and it's 3 losses early in the year, and it's like, okay, whatever. We realize now in the long term that was actually a good football team. So Mater Dei starting to level back out. Game ball to Ramona for beating up on Westview. Bulldogs are another one, kind of like that LCC. They weren't on our radar in the beginning of the year. They are now playing really good football. And finally, game ball to Grossmont, 51-7 over El Cap. Grossmont's another one that they took that loss to Bishops early in the season. Might have had some people around the county hitting the panic button, but they have just been torching teams lately.
Grossman's team every year. It seems like we talk about them.
They're
Like
gonna
this.
put
We
up
forget
numbers.
about them, and then they
And then also, as we said, game ball to this guy. Just real quick,
Yes, sir.
what was I don't even we'll run the play right now. Okay, you saw that. What was that like? What was it? What's the emotion when you look back and you realize you've dragged 35 people 10 yards?
Really, man, my emotion that whole game was just to get the win, you know what I mean? And first and foremost, I just wanted to play for Mr. Bros. That was just on our mind whole week, was this game is going to be dedicated to Mr. Bros.
Tell us a little bit about why.
Well, Mr. Bros, he's Mr. Otay. Like, he's the one who started this whole program. No, you know Mr.
Yeah,
Bros.
Mr. Bros is a great
You know what I
man,
mean?
great family, great guy.
He's just a great guy all around. He stood up for me for many things, you know what I mean? But he's just all around great dude. He made Otay who we are today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, rest in peace, Mr. Bros.
Rest in peace. Love you, man.
Absolutely, it's a great story.
And so, what's the season look like for you guys for the rest of the way?
Yeah.
Well, so far.
Granted, you have a pretty dicey person to talk to right now about this week's game.
Well, the season, how it's looking for us right now, we're just going to go in every week with a new attitude every day, you know what I mean? Just work hard at practice and hopefully get the win on the weekends.
Now I want to ask something. Let's kind of take a bigger step back and look at a couple years worth of Otay football. You got Devin Lloyd last year. You got you this year. It seems like Otay never on anyone's radar at the beginning of the year, but always gets a big win, and just plays some of the most physical football in the county. Why haven't people come out to Otay yet? Why should people come out to Otay?
Well, I think people should come out to Otay just because we got talent all around, all over the board, you know what I mean? I know we're probably under the radar, but it's all good. We've been underdogs for God knows how long, you know what I mean, for the past couple of years, but this year's a whole new year. We have a new mindset, new attitude, so hopefully make it all the way this year.
So you mind sticking around for a couple game picks? Be our guest judge for this week?
yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
before we even get to that, I want you to talk about Olympian a little bit. We can't let
Okay.
that go.
All right.
No,
All right.
I want Noah to ask this question after you. Noah, go ahead.
I think it's pretty well known, the rivalry between Otay and Olympian. Just talk about, your team's mindset going in the week trying to get that trophy.
Well, our mindset this week is just go to practice, go 110%, then hopefully in the game we'll do the same thing and we'll execute and get that win. You know what I mean? I know Olympic got a great athletes, Isaiah Williams, Rashawn Brown, DJ Tyree, Nico Mendoza, Rock Gonzalez. They have a strong defense, strong offense, but It'll be a good game. So
Yeah,
everybody
definitely
should come
go
out
to
and
that
support
game on Friday.
And
yeah.
how thankful are you that he won't be lining up across me?
Oh man, running all over down.
All right, so I like just a little side note here. Let's say 2 of us versus 2 of you in Okies in a little Oklahoma drill.
I don't know about all that. Yeah.
With the 2 of you matching up, like we'll take each other out of the play.
Right,
2 of you 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Little side note: when we were, in middle school, we played ball together. A lot of times we had heads up, and a lot of times both of us were like,
Just walking away. So stop.
So yeah, nothing but respect for this.
I like
guy.
that. I like that. The immovable force, the unstoppable object.
Yep.
That's kind of what we got going on for our game picks. You're running away with it a little bit this season, and our guest judges are in second place. So
Embarrassing.
let's see if you can keep up with the rest of the kids in the county.
All right, here we go. Here are our game picks. First game, we're gonna go this way, and I'm gonna go last. Actually,
Let's take a step this way. I'm just getting a little worried that we're gonna get you out of the frame.
All right,
Don't
here we
want a
go.
Micah Wiggs
Here we go.
situation.
Yeah, we have San Diego going to Kearney. No, what do you think?
I think both teams. Shout out to both teams coming out this year
Both teams
strong.
undefeated. We gotta say this. This is lower
Yeah.
division teams, but big game because one of these 2 is going to become a 7-0 team that, becomes
Nobody
the odds-on
expected, yeah.
favorite.
And I'm gonna give it to Kearney this week. I think they got a little bit more athletes, but shout out to San Diego. They're coming along. They're gonna have a great rest of the season. But I just think Kearney's gonna come out on top.
I heard it.
I say San Diego.
There we go.
Shout out to my boy Thomas and shout out to my boy Jaden. I think they're gonna come through and get the dub this week.
I hate to boil it down to one player, but my goodness, you got to look at the correlation. Thomas Marcus shows up, San Diego gets good again. He doesn't necessarily play in a position where he can lock Brenton Bell down all day long, be shutting down that run game, but you got to think that the numbers have been there for the passing game for San Diego, and I like that more than a running game. I'm going to go San Diego for this one.
What was
in
the
a
name?
shootout.
What was
Let
it?
me give like a 48-41, like no defense.
Hey,
Just-
defense, you better step up
defense
this
job.
week.
Hey, what
That's
was
a
the name
direct
of
shot at
Kearney?
you guys.
Young man named Bell.
Yeah, Brenton Ringmouth Bell.
Yep, I'm gonna go with Kearney. I'll be with Noah on this one. I think Kearney to comments. Soar above the Cavers.
Okay.
Next
You,
game.
you thought a lot about that one, didn't you? Really put a lot of effort into that one.
Frawley going to Southwest EC. No, what do you think?
Another undefeated.
Another game where you just 2 good teams that came out from really out of nowhere. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Brawley on this one. I think Brawley's just gonna, come down, win at the end, and get the dub.
Tyler Sycombe is no. I'm probably saying that wrong, but their running back is no joke.
Yeah,
out
I
of
might
Southwest.
have to go with Southwest. I don't want to go against Nova, but I'll go against Southwest just because I know Coach Paco is going to be there, and I know he probably step up with the team. Oh my God! Okay,
The other Southwest.
No, other Southwest, other Southwest.
Other Southwest. Well, I might as well just go no on this one.
Yeah, he's got me.
I have made that mistake before.
Shout out to Southwest
Yeah,
San Diego. Though. Shout out to Southwest San Diego.
Both Southwest. Both Southwest.
Brawley concerns me a little bit. They lost the game to Morris, and Morris loses to Mira Mesa. Some things just aren't making sense there. They're a little inconsistent. I'll go with Southwest El Centro.
We'll go with Brawley. I'm never going to pick against Brawley ever again. So
Deal.
that's kind of how
Super
my,
deal. Totally
my deal works.
understood.
Crawford going to Claremont. Again, the smaller division schools that are we got to talk about. What do you think, Noah?
This is a test to see how good Crawford is. They took a big L last week to UC. They were undefeated at the time. So to me, this just kind of seems like the D5 playoffs are going to get formed right here. If Crawford gets this win, they're a bounce back team that they played up, they lost, but they're ready to go with the D5 level. If they lose this one, they're no longer in the driver's seat.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Crawford. Even though they took a big loss, I feel like they're gonna regroup, recover, and pull out a W on Friday.
I'll go with Crawford too.
I'm gonna go with Claremont. I like Michael Acevedo's size. I think that this one gets sloppy and low scoring. Claremont ends up barely winning.
UC is not a joke. I think UC blowing them out is okay. University City is a team we haven't talked much about, but I think they're a good program. I
We
think.
literally were there for a podcast. What do you mean we haven't talked much about them?
He's
Just want to say, just trying to say. So I will go with Crawford as well. I think Crawford will go ahead and get the win of the game we want to talk about. Hinted at it towards the beginning of the podcast. It is Mission Hills traveling to La Costa Canyon. Two of our top 10 teams. Our number 1 team. Noah, would you like to lead us off?
What? Why are you gonna do that to Noah? Force him to lead off with all of them.
every game I've led off, so I'm gonna continue. Jack Tuttle, Chris Olave, probably the best 1-2 punch at quarterback and receiver in San Diego County.
They're
Chris
closing
Olave-
on the all-time.
Yeah, and
combos.
Chris Olave just picked up an offer.
Ohio State, baby!
The Ohio State University, so shout out to that man. I think LCC is gonna, hit him in the mouth early, but I think ultimately Mission Hills is gonna get it done.
Yeah, I gotta go with Mission Hills with Chris Olave and Jack Terrell. This is a dynamic duo, you know what I mean? I know Chris since, we go way back, we went to same middle school, we played ball together, but I'm going for Mission Hills.
Dude, Mission Hills, man. Mission Hills, but I will say,
I thought I was gonna get that.
You made that look like you're gonna do it. You made it look like.
what's up? How you guys doing? That's the rest of Otay behind us.
How you doing?
Hey, who says we don't get everybody on this show, man? we planned that so they would all.
Yeah, we'll go back and tally that up later. See how many people. We got.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is kind of what I said earlier. This is one where I just want to see LCC put a dent in them and prove that they're not just the real deal, but they're Mission Hills' biggest threat, and then set this one up for a rematch in the finals. Because that would be a nasty final. A one-loss LCC taking on Mission Hills for a little rematch.
Let's not forget about Helix and Madison, though. We're not forgetting about you.
But that's what I'm saying, man. You put a dent in them right now, you prove you're the real deal, and you get that hunger for the finals.
I will say this: this will be a 7-point game.
Wow.
Won by Mission Hills. I can't do it. I want to do it, but I can't. I think this will be a lot closer than people think. I think that people will be surprised by the score, but I won't be.
Deal?
Yeah. That's where we are in that. Guys, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, watch RBU with these two. It's coming out in a few minutes.
It's gonna be great.
All right. See you next week. Cool. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.